Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I had the good luck of catching Elmer Yuen before he was off to the next spot in the world, and he had some time to share his thoughts with me on what President Biden actually said in his State of the Union address. He said nobody would like to be in his place, and this his, I'm guessing, is Xi Jinping. Well, is it true or not? How does Elmer see it? Let's ask him. Elmer, what do you think of who President Biden mentioned as nobody wants to be in his place?
President Biden was very emphatic, really spoke strongly that no one wants to be in Xi Jinping's place, meaning they have information in US about China. Nobody has more information than the United States. They understand Xi Jinping is in deep trouble, both inside and outside China. This is, of course, the shooting down of the first balloon. And when President Biden was doing his State of Union address, it's a very serious thing to say, and he said it off his speech, all right, off his speech, and in his normal American tone, which we only American understand what he was really meaning. Most foreigners, with proper English, wouldn't understand what he's saying. So what he really meant is Xi Jinping is in such trouble. Nobody, no leaders in the world wants to take his place, even though he's also powerful. So that is really what he meant. And lately, seriously, as I heard, there's just another balloon. All right, just half an hour ago, there's another balloon in near North Pole, north of Alaska. So this is only in U.S. territory. This is the third one discovered recently.
This is the third one, right?
More before, many.
Yeah.
Even during Trump's term, they had several going into. About 3 of them went into U.S., but people simply ignore it because they don't think it's a big deal. I mean, this is totally negligence on the U.S. military. They don't think it's a big deal, and then they say, "Oh, since nobody's alarmed, let it be." Even this one they shot down in South Carolina. If no amateur took a picture of it with a 500 millimeter telephoto lens, it would not even be mentioned. They would just let Blinken and Yellen go to Beijing, have their meeting, try to restore some business. All right, because what happened is the Chinese ambassador to Washington in the last 6 months, his name is Qin Gang. All right, now he's been promoted to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So Qin Gang have done 6 months of solid work, try to round up all the pro-China businessmen, including AIA, insurance, all the high techs, all the Hollywood, all the MBA, all the Kissingers, get them to really lobby the White House, try to use China and rebuild the trade relationship, supposedly mutually beneficiary. But the truth is, this balloon thing is not one. This balloon thing has totally destroyed. And I'm in the States now, and people are just, it's called really clear and present danger. This is there's nothing less than clear and present danger. So of course, I'm sure you heard they passed a resolution condemning it as an act of aggression, and almost 0 to 419 votes. All right, 0 against. So that's how serious it is. And of course, there are many stories and many theories on why Xi Jinping allowed this thing to happen, especially in the middle of he's trying to warm the U.S. and China relationship. He was using the Mr. Liu He in Davos and also Qin Gang in Washington, try to invite Yellen and also Blinken to Beijing. And they were trying to do something. And I believe that's the news I heard, that Xi Jinping was on his way to Moscow to talk to Putin about how to have a ceasefire. All right, because obviously nobody wants to say it, but I mean, they feel it's time to have a ceasefire because the whole the world economy is not very stable with this war going on. So lots of things going on. So, but this balloon is 100% approved by Xi Jinping. But this man, whatever he does, he never considered the consequence. That's what he did to Hong Kong, and then that's how he lost Hong Kong. It's a huge loss. I don't know how to calculate by passing this national security law in Hong Kong how much China have lost because American and their capital, everything's leaving Hong Kong, and because of also this zero tolerance, how many foreign factories and investment and foreign nationals have left China. The economy is in total chaos. And right now, they just had a very big demonstration in Wuhan. Wuhan is very famous. You remember, Wuhan was the origin of the virus. Not only that,
Yeah.
Wuhan was the where we had our first revolution against the Qing dynasty. All right, Wuhan was the place. So they had a huge demonstration because they are trying to cut back on subsidies on their Medicare. All right, how much? Basically, they want to shift the burden onto the patients. All right, because they've spent so much money building these concentration camps, for separation, and also they spend so much money for doing the test that the whole Medicare, so Chinese Medicare fund has run out. That's what it is. So they're trying to shift the load to the patients rather than the state or the insurance company or the company itself, which was supposed to be funding most or 80% of their Medicare. So it's very serious. The economy is totally dead, and then they got the Wall Street through Davos to boast about U.S. economy is going to hell, and the Chinese economy is going to have a revenge type of explosion of growth. So trying to shift the investment part of the U.S. hot money from U.S. to China, but not very successful. The latest I heard, even Kissinger has jump shipped. Kissinger was collecting $10 million a year of consultancy for the Chinese government, in fact, and he would do anything. But after watching the second balloon be shot down, he's had enough because the situation is not savageable. It really is beyond savage. It's so serious, and I'm sure this is way beyond Xi Jinping. He totally underestimated the reaction, both from the U.S. government and mainly from the Congress and from the people. It's so serious. So anyway, I would say that we're just kind of waiting for the regime to collapse.
Now, Elmer, the second balloon that got shot down over Alaska, and now we're talking about a third one near North Pole. Do you think these may have been like sequenced from China a while ago, which is why now it is difficult to take them back? What do you think?
Siri, nothing happens. No object flies to U.S. without Xi Jinping's approval. This is not a joke. You are talking about the strongest country in the world militarily. I mean, everything has to be from his approval. What really this is happens a lot in this kind of totalitarian countries. They try to please him. You understand? In your country, everybody try to please the people so that people can vote for the leader. But in the totalitarian regime, everybody, their only job is to please the leader. And when the leader is happy, you get promoted. They have no responsibility to the country, to the economy, to the people. So basically, this group of people who's come up with this idea of balloon, and this balloon was not a new idea, but since the collapse of Huawei, originally, Huawei would have installed their 5G mobile phone and 5G base stations, and then the world would be using their hubs and using their so-called codec, the modem, and they would be using. I mean, the whole world would be using. So originally, Huawei would have dominated the global communication. But since
5G.
Huawei was
Yeah.
kicked out, so they
Right.
have to find alternatives. And this kind of poor man's satellite was their alternative to replace Huawei and also to compete with Elon Musk, Starlink. You see, this kind of poor, don't overlook this kind of poor man's satellite. They can run at very low orbit, let's say 60,000 feet. All right, and they're so cheap, maybe cost 100,000 each. If it's going to be used for normal communication, cellular communication, it can really give Elon Musk a run for his money. It's a great competition. Elon Musk satellite are so Starlink are so cheap, but this is cheaper than Elon Musk. So this is why these guys report to Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, wow, it's a great idea. And then they say, let us show you. We can even reach United States and take all the picture and capture all their communication, cellular
Yes.
communication. You see, right now, if they're above you, for instance, they're above Montana, all the people using cell phones, all right, and they communicate with the base station, they pick up. They can pick up 100% from those balloons. All right. So it's not a joke. So they are, in fact, with Huawei before they thought they controlled the whole world's communication, everything, even your home, your modem at home. It's mostly built by China, 99%. And
Yes.
there's
Yes.
always a backdoor. They can always get in backdoor, and they know exactly what happened at your home. Every home. Let's be honest. That's why I don't even keep secrets. Every modem and every router has a backdoor to Huawei. And so far, this thing doesn't make profit. That's why maybe probably your Indian companies are not interested to mass produce. Because I mean, the thing is, they're exporting for less than $10 a unit. So how much can you
Yes.
make on $10? The chip is about $1, and the rest is all hardware, very very cheap. But so how much can you make? So nobody makes it anymore. Cisco gave up. Everybody gave up in the States. All the European gave up, and only the Chinese are making the modem and the routers. So they can access every office and every home.
Elmer, the second balloon that was shot down off Alaska, United States is not saying it is a balloon. They are saying it's an object and it appears to be a surveillance object. A lot of maybes are being put. What is your information on that?
It's definitely another balloon of surveillance, but sometimes they can use it for weather and for weather and also for military purpose, for listening. It's the same equipment. I mean, after all, it's a camera. There's kind of different sensors, and then there's a transmitter. There's a receiver, right? and then and then normally they have they use a solar panel to collect power, so they can have a little engine or motor driving them in case it's the let's say the current is not flowing the right way. They can adjust the direction. This is, and what they're doing. This is I would even call this, if they're successful, they can even use it as a unrestricted weapon, unrestricted warfare weapon. Look, took 8 days for the United States to shoot it down. No, the thing is not so easy to detect by a radar because it's not made out of metal. There's only a little bit metal in the payload. The balloon itself is basically with air inside, and it's maybe with silicon rubber.
A lot of hot
So
air.
there's no radar bounce back. So it's not so easy to detect. It's quite a interesting, old-fashioned but interesting weapon. And you can this is all they're talking about 20-story high. They can put nuclear warhead, nuclear bombs, biochemical stuff in it, anything they want, including hypersonic missiles, anything they'll carry, anything you want. And this one really showed that how U.S. is unaware of it. Allow this thing pass overhead for 8 days from discovery, and which means China is testing how serious the Americans are in protecting its homeland. Seriously, if there's going to be a war between China and Taiwan, we believe, all right, we believe that both sides will be shooting cruise missiles at each other, intercontinental including. They want to see how U.S. will react if Taiwan is attacked. Now this is not only Taiwan attacking Taiwan. This is attacking U.S. mainland. And Biden is just letting it go, and basically saying that, oh, Xi Jinping doesn't know about it. His people are doing it. That's bullshit. All right, he knows it 100%.
So, when has he already left for Moscow, Xi Jinping?
No, not yet, not yet. I believe they are talking about end of February or end of March.
I see.
Depends.
I see.
So I believe the original plan was to try to broker a peace settlement because they have enough power behind Russia. Because basically, Russia, all the money, all the supply, Russia has run out on everything. It's from China. So they have Xi Jinping have the enough power to force a settlement. So that's what he was going to do. But now the situation has changed. Basically, US has dropped him forever. There's no way of going back. So he may lean towards Russia, and the whole thing may turn out to be a what do you call a proxy war, meaning China supporting Russia and US supporting Ukraine. And then the war may shift over here to the Pacific, where China invade Taiwan, and Japan and US support Taiwan. US invade Taiwan, and Japan and US support Taiwan. The situation is very tense. In the latest military information, which I don't think they report in India, is the British nuclear carrier, the Elizabeth, together with 7 other ships, including submarines, nuclear submarines, now have arrived at the South China Sea. Now it's very serious. 8, including I think 1 ship from Holland, and then maybe 1 ship from Germany. This is NATO. And remember, the NATO General Secretary was just in Japan and South Korea last week. So this is damn serious. This is heating up, even though, one thing I suspect, this guy Biden may be very clever, much, much clever than we all are. He basically beat Trump. You remember? Basically sleeping in his basement, doing nothing. He was able to beat Trump. He is able to beat Putin. And looks like now he's able to beat Biden. The guy is very low.
To Xi Jinping, yeah.
He
Yeah.
plays dead. You remember how he withdrew his force from Afghan? So Putin said, God, this guy is weak. He's afraid to fight. And then he really chased Putin for his money. I believe this guy, he say, oh, China, we're not going to have a conflict. We're going to treat them as strategic competitors. My ass competitor. He is ready for war. All the action, what he speaks is softly. I think he's using this, what do you call it? Remember Roosevelt?
Yes, speak softly and carry a big stick. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I believe this is what he's doing. I've you see how he beat Trump, how he beat Putin, and now he's using the same on Xi Jinping. This is what I believe. It's turning out to be so. This guy may be much, much more clever than we all think.
Oh, I'll give him credit for. My viewers will not forgive me if I don't ask you this question. A few episodes back, 10, 20, I don't remember, you had told that the Chinese asked the Russians to do a simulation of war with United States,
yes,
to find out how China would do. And I think you said 40 minutes. That's
yes,
all it will take.
45 minutes, about
45 minutes. Would you still say the same time, or is it going to be a little longer now?
No, this was an ocean warfare. All right. The Chinese went to Russia and asked the Russian Ministry of Defense do an analysis for them or simulation for them, or only on the seawall, because they thought this whole thing is going to be it's going to fight in the Taiwan Strait, only as the ocean.
Okay,
now of
understood.
course it's becoming expanding. The war is expanding. So they asked them, because the Russians understand both sides, and then so they came back with a conclusion of 40 or 45 minutes, I forgot exactly, under a seawall. But I believe it will be the same, because the speed these missiles will be flying. Well, this is what I'm going to believe. It will never be restricted on Taiwan. American they are not going to just sit there and let the Chinese start shooting at them first. they will shoot. The minute they see the Chinese get prepared, they are going to start shooting first. I mean, you watch these cowboy movies. They don't wait. Whoever draws the fastest, it's a shootout. I mean, whoever thinks that there are a few people saying that, oh yeah, let them. It's not going to happen. You look what happened in Japan. How they fought the war in Japan, in Germany, and so on. They are more than happy to attack. So we do not think that it's going to be America is just going to sit there and wait for China to do. They are going to move as faster. The minute they see movement in the air base, they are going to shoot first. Why should anybody risk their life? So I believe that this thing can happen. The same thing. It will not even come to the ocean. The ships will not have would take too long for them to come to Taiwan. It would be just let's say a missile warfare between both U.S. and maybe Taiwan and U.S. and Korea and also Japan, because U.S. have all the missiles in all these places close enough. So I don't think they may shoot the capital, but they were going to destroy all their air bases, missile base, air bases, and then naval bases. This is normal what's going to happen. U.S. have enough firepower.
Let me ask you a question comparing with what happened in the First and the Second World Wars. See, there are two sides. England on one side, the stronger one. On the First World War, it was Germany. Second World War, it was England plus US, because US did not come in until 1942. So
Exactly.
in these scenarios, the German officers perhaps had a fair amount of interaction with the British. So they kind of knew what the other guy would think, what kind of strategies they would use. How is it today? How cross-pollinated are the Chinese generals and officers with the American system?
I would say that China is going to shoot missiles, and Taiwan, Japan, Korea, plus U.S. in Okinawa and also in Guam, it's going to all shoot. There's not going to be any holdbacks. All right, and I don't think Taiwan makes the decision. At the end of the day, U.S. will make the decision, because Taiwan itself is just it has a lot of missiles. It's really like a what do you call the animal with a lot of
Centipedes?
the one with what do you call a lot
Porcupine.
of spots?
Porcupine.
Yeah, they say that the number of missiles in Taiwan, it makes it like like those animals. So Taiwan is very strong. It's very strong, but then just by defending or waiting for China to take action, that's not war. The war has to be simultaneous, and I would not be surprised if this side, U.S. side or Taiwan side, Japan side, will move faster. The minute they see any irregular activity in those bases, they are going to make their move. There's not going to be any argument. And let's argue later. Win the war and argue later. This is, I believe, the strategy. Nobody is going to wait until they occupy Taiwan and then strike. They are going to strike the minute. So this is why Chinese is also watching Montana's ICBM base, whether they want to video everything, the daily activity. And whenever there's irregular activity, means they are going to war. So this is normal. How many people go to work, at what hour of the day? These are activity. And China does the same. They have this kind of monitor station, as I'm sure both in India and in Mongolia and all over. So they are watching. So I don't believe there's going to be any like a Normandy type of landing. It's going to be missile. And missiles today are, so fast. Mark 1, Mark 5, so fast. It's going to be way over, really, in maybe probably less than 40 minutes.
Well, we'll wait and see. Very interesting developments. And the third balloon, has it also been shot down, Elmer, to your knowledge?
No. It's just been discovered on the
Oh,
north.
okay.
And I think U.S. don't care what it is anymore. All right, because if they don't shoot it down, the reaction in the United States from the public and from the Congress is so strong. meaning you fail to defend the country or defend its
Right.
people. So the
Right.
safest today is to shoot it down because nobody's going to blame him. Before there was a negotiation, a meeting going on in Beijing, but now they canceled the meeting, so there's nothing to hold back. I would say Biden, in his first instance, will shoot it down right away.
Well, stay tuned. By the time this releases, the third balloon may also have been shot down. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Elmer, as always, a pleasure having you on our platform. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you for inviting me. Goodbye. Goodbye.